Hello, Akwaba. Welcome back to our close meetings. I hope you're doing fine. I'm doing good. I just quickly want to discuss something with you that I came across in my usual introspection. When you say, God works with times and seasons, and at any time, any season, and you be. Human beings, we have calendars, we have clocks, and we peg and schedule our daily activities and expectations to these clocks and the calendars and all that. God's timing is not like that. And until his time has come for you concerning anything I've told you about, brah, 3 days ago, I went to church. We are doing this beginning with Christ, a thing that usually church people do at the beginning of the year. And the pastor who was speaking, I think he's into the prophetic kakra. No, he's a prophet actually. And so, you know, when they are in the elements, they start having visions about people, you know, and then they start telling people stuff. So in the heat of it, he got to this young man, very young man. But okay, man now, young man, I would say he's building his life. You know, he's budding in life. A young man, and this prophet just looked at him and told him, you are going to enter into this industry, a very buoyant, vibrant industry, and you're going to excel in that industry. And he asked the guy, and it looked like the guy had no idea about what industry they like, and in a dream. And he's saying that's what he sees. And anytime he validated that prophecy with a lot of conviction, somehow the whole church agreed in prayer and were clapping and were shouting. It just was so real. And then when he finished and was about leaving, he came back, laid his hand on the guy and said, I create space for you in that industry. Two things hit me as the man of God was ministering to this young man. First of all, in the young man's destiny, there was that reality. He was supposed to do that, be in that industry, and he didn't even know it. And apart from the fact that he didn't even know that was in his destiny, there was no space for him in that destiny. So the man of God had to call forth that space, create that space at the point where he will get to that destiny. No, there should be space for him. And the young man had no idea of these things. As the man of God was ministering to him, do you know what dropped into my spirit? He said, all these things the man was saying was going to take 20 years to manifest. 20 years for that prophetic declaration of his life. And that was such an elevation. It will take 20 years. In the calendar of man, anyhow, in the timing of man, anyhow, but in the timing and calendar of God, it was there. And this man might probably go through a lot of things, a lot of hassles, a lot of tussles, a lot of disappointments, a lot of pain, a lot of tears before he gets to that destiny. The timing of God. The timing of God has not yet come, so you don't understand what you are going through. Let me tell you, Obia, before you came onto this earth, your destiny was already done. It was set for you, and you were coming to fulfill a certain destiny in the grand scheme of events. As you're listening to me right now, there's a knowing in your heart. There is a reality. But say brand best what people will say, they've jumped the gun. And now to get hold of that reality, that destiny. Until they fall into a lot of traps. What God has said about you, nothing can stop it. Because God watches over his word to perfect it. And once he watches over his word, just say a word, it is marking time. Don't jump the gun. And sometimes for that word to be fulfilled, it takes a lot of just a name of through that time. Sometimes because obviously they want to some ferry nyame ohun ferry onim de obeye ye na wo say nyabotre na fadie no nyame ne breso oya de nya fefe just in his time. He makes all things beautiful. A friend of mine, he was going through some rough times. It's like all of us, we're going through it. Some of us, we have no option but to pray, and hope for the best, because perseverance brings forth hope. And then the guy was so like, no, let's do something about it. So he said he knows a spiritualist we should go and see the person. I said, no, me spiritual is anything wrong. Me spiritual is anything. It's hard though, but I know that God knows what to do. I can be angry, I can scream and shout and say whatever I want to say. So he went to see this spiritualist or whoever he was talking about. He went for directions from this spiritualist, and the spiritualist told him, do this. When you do this, this is what is going to result, and you have changes, you see changes, and whatever you're looking for, things will be good for you. Okay, chairman, I'm saying, okay, so this man went for the directions and he did it. And when he did it, exactly what the spiritualist told him, it came to pass. And he got solutions for what that thing we're fighting for. We were praying to God Almighty, the Holy Ghost, Jesus Christ. And that's now, this is what I want to tell you concerning this situation. I am not saying that don't go and see a prophet too, and I said don't go and see somebody who's a spiritualist. I'm not telling you that, but I'm just telling you that trust in God, trust in the process. You know what God has told you concerning your problem. Trust it, because you see, a lot of spirits in this world, and most of these spirits, they want to impress. They want followers. They want to be worshipped. They want to be honored. And so when you tell them something, they'll do it for you quickly, so that you follow them. You pay homage to them. You honor them. They'll do it for you. But God, he doesn't need your approval. He's God all by himself. He's big by himself. He just wants to glorify you. In fact, he once told the disciples, if you don't praise me, our stones praise me. This is the God we are talking about. Because of that, he's not in a hurry to impress anybody. Now say, that spirit, that suman, honor, homage. Into catching Obeyama said you draw to him and give him your worship and your praise. If God doesn't do something for you in the time you want, that's how you leave him at. All things eventually put to God. You come back to realize that with time, all things eventually revolve and consist in God. So with time, once the old yanka, it happened to Sarah. Please, Abraham, sleep with my maid. And catch him, so yeah, they had a child. But that was not what God wanted. That was not what God wanted for them. That was not the intention of God for their destiny. Let me tell you, in the time in the time now, something happens to you. I read it in Romans chapter 5, verse 3. And not only so, but we glorify in tribulations also, knowing that tribulations worketh patience. In the process now, o twema de ya kan fa won bebem, o twema destiny aye adwuma no, o twema shebre aye adwuma no. Ebedu brasa shebre no ebe take fruition. Nyame works on your patience. Abotre. A lot of us are jumping the gun because you don't have patience. Patience worketh experience. Abotre ma o suahunu. Adena unemu na asede ude waka ichire no ema usuhunu ema experience. It's building you. It is filling you up for that destiny. No, you will need this experience. I know people who have said, yes, I did the mankomanka. Minim said, when everything comes to fruition, bibia ba no, you will understand. Experience also gives you hope. This stress I'm going through, because everybody do you will be better able to be in a position to also build and shape someone's patience and experience, because you've been there. Plus, said destiny, when it's eventually fulfilled, you will know how to handle it. Habakkuk 2:3. So the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. When the realization of the destiny is set in motion, nothing can stop it. And at that time, the Bible said everything is working together for your good. That is when there's a passage in the Bible that said the boundary lines are falling to be in pleasant places. At that point, someone said, time has come. This also not to say that men don't put in any effort to put in the effort, but all the efforts need come. You know, you are doing everything. You are moving in the direction of your vision, of your dream. You are moving the direction. Now, so you are not seeing fruition. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't seek alternative ways or shortcuts. Don't wait for the appointed time, because God never disappoints. He will never shame you. The hope of God doesn't shame. Romans 5:3. Nyamemre enya nipa mre ode na asem no. Asem na waka no. God has exalted his word above his name. That should tell you that asem no hia no. Na asem no nyam be mu ani din ni ho. So be make sure sabem. Na bre bebe mu na nya wo time. It is his timing, it is his word, and he will do it how he wants it done. And it will blow your mind. Yours is to wait the process out. Building experience, building perseverance, having lots of hope and trusting God in the process. Reverend Adeyemi says, whenever I run into crisis, I look for the opportunity in the crisis. Sometimes we all fall victims to this. It's normal, we are human. You go into a crisis and you think it's going to crush you. But let me tell you, sometimes these crashes are stepping stones to your destinies. And in those crises, there are always silver lines of opportunities that you have to pick. Learn those things. Experience, perseverance, hope, and it's built. You're learning humility. In my case, I'm going through a situation. I think it is helping me to become humble and trust in God more. And it also doesn't mean that God has left you. God never leaves people. I'm just 2 years old in this world. And in my 2 years of living in this world, one thing I've come to realize that God never disappoints. God is faithful. He is so faithful that he has exalted his word above his name. God is so faithful. We human beings, we are not faithful. We don't have faith because we are situation prone. Situations alter our emotions at every given point. Situations. God is not altered by any situation. He is situation. God himself is situation. He creates the situation. Nothing changes him. So when he says something, he's well able to accomplish what he has said, but we are not. So we can't even hold trust at some point. In Kanipa to me, our for they give vows, commit to each other, and then they end. One of them breaks vows because you're human. And because of that nature, God expects us to put our trust and confidence in his ability to keep what he says he will do. He's able. He will not break. God will not disappoint you. God will not kill you. God will not shame you. Even the shame is for a purpose. I remember I was reading a passage in the Bible, 1 Kings thereabout. And David, who was anointed by God as king, ran away from Saul. The king ran away, and the king went to a certain city, and the king, David, anointed by God, had to behave like a madman. And all that time, God was with him to a certain purpose of his destiny, which was fulfilled in time. It takes people who understand these things to wait on the timing of God. God's timing is not your time, my brother, but his timing is perfect. And for you, he's marking time on his word. For you, God is marking time on his word. For you, I'm repeating, God is marking time on his word. And when the time has come, it may take 20 years. It may take 15 years. It may take 2 years. It may take 1 year. People will laugh at you. People will despise you. Where is your God? You too, at your age, you are still doing, you are still waiting on God. People are, wait. Build perseverance. Oh, my soul. Build patience. Oh, my soul. Build perseverance. Have hope in the God who is faithful. He will not disappoint you. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share this to anybody who you think would need it. And leave a comment in the comment section. In the meantime, hold on to hope, okay? And know that God is faithful.